Welcome everyone, this is teacher Rosa Garcia and today we are going to talk about present simple tense. We are going to analyze the different uses that it has and also we are going to talk about how to form the different sentences. Let's start. First of all, let's remember some of the uses. One that is the most common one, it is to talk about universal facts. What are the universal facts? For example, we can talk about the different temperatures. Also, we can talk about how the earth goes around the sun and stuff like that. Here we have an example. 2 and 2 make 4, the earth revolves around the sun. So those are universal facts. Also, we use it to talk about permanent situations. When we talked about permanent situations, are those situations that aren't going to change? I don't know, maybe in a year or stuff like that. So something permanent is something that is going to stay the same for a long time. And here we have two examples. I live in London and she works in a restaurant. If you think about those examples, we don't really change work so often. So that's why we say that that is a permanent situation. And also the place where we live, we don't really change or we don't really move from houses so often. So that is why we say that it is also a permanent situation. Now, let's talk about habits and routines. When we have present simple, we have a habit or also a routine. Remember, a habit or a routine, it is something that we repeat and repeat and repeat. And here we have, I play tennis at the weekend and my dad washes his car every Sunday. Now, another use, I know that it is present, and when we hear that expression present, we think something about now, right? But no, present simple, we are going to use it also for future timetables. And what is future timetable? A future timetable, it is going to be an schedule, something that repeats at the same time, the same day, this week, the future week, or this year, next year, and the other year coming up, and stuff like that. So that is why we have the train leaves at 11. So that means that every day the train it is going to leave at the same time, 11 a.m. What time does the plane arrive? We are asking about what specific time the plane it is going to be at a specific place. Now, also we are going to use it to future in time clauses. What is the meaning of this? That we are going to use it with conditionals. It is another different topic. It is a topic that you are going to check soon. But anyways, when we have clauses, what is a clause? A clause is when you have a subject and a verb together. So in order to have a clause, you need to have that. You need to have your subject and your clause. And that clause it is going to be used when we have different conditionals. For example, we are going to use present simple with the first conditional. And we have two examples here. She won't go out until it stops raining. If you see here, this is the part where you have the conditional and the present one. We'll play the game after I teach you this. So again, if you analyze and if you check, here you have the expression in present simple. I teach you this. Now talking a little bit about form, we have how to form the positive sentences with present simple. We are going to form them remembering that if you have he, she, or it, which are the third person in English, you are going to add an S at the end of the verb. Sometimes you may use es or ies depending on the verb. For example, if you have the verb fix, it is impossible to add only an s at the end of the verb because if you try to say that fix, your mouth and your tongue won't allow it to do it. So that is why we add es. For example, we say teaches or fixes or kisses, stuff like that. When you use ies, for example, with the verb study, that verb ends with a consonant plus y. When you have a consonant plus y, that y it is going to be changed for I and you add es. So study becomes studies. And remember, you are going to use s, es, or ies at the end of the verb only when you have third person singular. So if you analyze the examples that we have here, you have he swims, but we have you swim. And that is why, because of that third person rule that I just mentioned. Now, talking about negative sentences. When you have negative sentences, we are going to have an auxiliary verb. So you are going to use don't or doesn't depending on the subject pronoun that you have. When you have I, you, we, and they, you use the auxiliary don't, and when you have he, she, or it, you use doesn't. And then how are you going to use your verb? When you have the auxiliary don't or doesn't, the verb all the time, it has to be in base form. All right? Base form only. You cannot add s at the end of your verb because you already have the auxiliary that it is pointing out that you have present simple. And now the last form that we are going to check are the questions in present simple. When you have present simple questions, you are going to use two auxiliary verbs. They are do or does. Do, it is going to be used for I, you, we, and they. And does, it is going to be used for he, she, or it. And also the verb, it has to be in base form. Okay? So if you check the examples, do I sleep? Do you sleep? Do we sleep? Does she sleep? Does it sleep? Those are yes, no questions. When you have yes, no questions, that means that you are going to have only two possible answers. And what are the answers? The answers are the ones that we have here. So for example, if I ask you, does she work? You are going to answer yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Alrighty? Depending on the subject, it is going to be the answer that you are going to give. Do you work? You can say yes, I do, or no, I don't. So depending on the subject, you are going to choose do or does. Now, what happens when you have WH questions? When you have, for example, what, or when you have where, or when, or how, whatever, those WH questions, those are going to be put it at the beginning of your expression. So you are going to say, where do you work? Where does she live? When does he come? Or stuff like that. And that is going to be it for this explanation. I hope that this video can help you a lot. Remember, we just analyzed the different uses and forms of present simple. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you soon. Bye bye.